Hey everybody, what's up? I hope you're having a wonderful holiday weekend, and in the spirit of all things Christmas, we're going to talk about black metal. Now, we're going to talk about the most evil, satanic, grimmest, bleakest, most frostbitten black metal band there is, the most extreme, and that is Dimmu Borgir. No, I'm just kidding. I already know some of you cried, but black metal is not meant to be taken seriously. I mean, how can they take themselves seriously standing in the forest, taking pictures with baseball bats with nails in them? Not very scary, guys, but you make some good music here and there. Not I don't like all that stuff, but I like some of it. And the reason why I like Dimmu Borgir is because it was one of the first extreme metal bands that I ever heard. And yes, they are not the most brutal, bleakest, most evil band of them all. And some people think that they're like the Walmart version of black metal or the popular version of black metal, but that's okay with me because I like the music. And I don't care what you guys think. So that being said, we're going to actually talk about a piece of Dimmu Borgir, and I have it right here. This is an actual piece of Dimmu Borgir from Iceland. In Icelandic, Dimmu means dark, Borgir means castle, or fortress. So the name Dimmu Borgir means dark fortress or dark castle in Icelandic, and that is where Silent Oz got the name because he was from Iceland. So, pretty cool. Here's an actual piece. This is lava rock. It's like pumicey kind of. I don't know if you guys can see the whole, what it's all about, the geographical features. If you turn it this way, it looks like a cross-section of the planet LV-426 that the aliens came from. That's what it looks like. It's extremely light. It's really brittle. I've had this for years. And Justin, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. But anyway, since we're talking about Dimmu Borgir, I figured that we would listen to some Dimmu Borgir tracks. And one of the best things about Dimmu Borgir was they were in an episode of Metalocalypse. That's where they went to get some food before they went to the food library or the grocery store and got some booze and asked if it was good for soup. So, in the spirit of all things comical, which black metal is to me, some of it's really cool. I really like Immortal. I like some Emperor tunes. On and on. I like Moonspell. Moonspell is probably the first black metal band I ever heard. But anyway, let's listen to some Dimmu Borgir. And I'm going to choose something right off the bat from the beginning of their career, which I think was one of the best eras of their career because there's been multiple eras. And we're going to choose something from Stormblast. And these are all live videos, by the way, because, the imagery goes well with black metal. That's why they're, doing the weird stuff they do. But anyway, let's check it out. So here is Stormblast live back in 1998. In Krakow, and when I was playing in Krakow on the Possessed tour, I was stoked and was hoping that this was the place that we were playing that had the stage that lit up. So check it out. So this is back in 1998, Stormblast live, right here. We got Steel Dog on the drums. Now Staniel on the other guitar. The dude from Australia. Shagrath on the vocals. Silent Oz on the rhythm guitar. I think we have Nagash on bass. Who is the keyboard player? Stian Arstad. Awesome song. They're playing it fast, too. And they sang in Norwegian. That was one thing that I thought was awesome when I was younger, was that they actually sang in a different language. That was pretty freaking cool. It's always Halloween in Norway. Shagrath sure does sound different now. I really think the keyboards are cool. Full regalia, the spiked boots, corpse paint. Now they look like they're like Shaolin monks or something with hoods. I think this was the same tour that they did with Cradle of Bill. That would have been cool to see. At least we got a visual with it instead of just the end of the song. It's super long. Hey. Cool, they read my mind. Anyway, awesome song. Great album. Stormblast came out in 1996. And, you know, obviously that video was from 98. They had a lineup change. I think on the original version of Stormblast, the album, I think Shagrath played the drums. And so they added people after the fact because I think when it first started, it was just Silent Oz and Shagrath. But anyway, you know, the re-recording of that in 2005, or I think it was 2005, yeah. You know, it sounded cool, it just wasn't the same. And they had Hellhammer, I think, playing drums on it. And maybe some of the other guys in the band at the time contributed. But good album. And, you know, Astenu was an awesome guitar player, and I just watched an interview with him. And he's from Australia, and he talked about the production of all the albums up until, I mean, he actually did work on Puritanical as well. He was on Savage Gardens of Grief. He was on Spiritual Black Dimensions, which I think is an awesome album. That's the last album with Theodolf and the last album with him. And then Galder came and Nick Barker. And I think that, you know, the band changed. As the band changed over time, they got a real... less black metal-y and more just like kind of black and death metal, especially when like Galder joined the band on Puritanical. Like Old Man's Child's an awesome album, and Galder's a great guitar player. I think he's probably one of the most underrated dudes in metal. He's an awesome guitar player. Old Man's Child albums, you know, Born of the Flickering and Pagan Prosperities are classic. Check both those out. Those really good. Vermin's a good album too. You know, when he had Gene Hoglan on one album, he had Nick Barker, who was one of the best drummers of all time. Nick has played with everybody from Testament. I was hoping he would have stayed in Testament, and I saw a live show with them, and they were really good, and he definitely elevated the music. But Nick's elevated every band that he's been in. He was in Lockup with Tomas Lindberg. I think and Peter Tatgren were in that band. You know, Tomas from At the Gates, Peter from Hypocrisy. And there was like a hardcore band. Really, really good album. I can't remember the name of the album, but it's good. But, you know, and Nick, he also did, I think he played with Night Rage for a while and somebody else too. He's been in a bunch of different bands, but if you're not familiar with Nick Barker's drumming, check it out. He is kind of like the torchbearer of Gene Hoglan, kind of like if Gene Hoglan was to be somebody like the next generation, it would have been Nick. And Nick is an awesome drummer, and it's too bad that he has kidney failure. And hopefully he's doing better or going to, you know, get through all that. And, you know, the Cradle of Filth album, Cruelty and the Beast, with him was really, really good, too. He's an awesome drummer, like I said. But, you know, Astenu was talking about how when they recorded Puritanical, he actually did a bunch of the pre-production with them. So a lot of the riffs on that album are actually things that he had written, and that's what he's claiming. And they actually, there's a version of that album with him on it. So that'd be really cool to hear. I doubt we'll ever hear it, but whatever. So moving on, the next era of the band, I chose a song off of good old Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. And this is another live video from the Live Misanthropy DVD. I referenced that in another video. But it was really cool because it was like 2 discs that went over their entire career. And it had some footage of them like jamming in a garage. And it was just 2 of them. And it was really, really cool. I think it was Silent Oz and Shagrath. But anyway, let's check this song out. Here we go. Kings of the Carnival Creation. That's the Grateful Dead logo. Vortex. Simon Hestus. It's Mustus on the keyboards, I think. Nick Barker on drums, Galder guitar, Silent Oz guitar, Shagrath on the vocals. Yeah, jamming the Jackson King, that's right. Silent Oz had this awesome, like, camo, like, Jackson Rhodes beat.
Of sin, through my misanthropy wrath in my sophistication, the cruelty and perfection.
This is live at the Vaca. Awesome. I think his entire kit's triggered. Yeah, Shagrath's vocals definitely were less harsh, more like a spoken word thing going on. Awesome riff. This might be one of the heaviest albums with standard tuning. Awesome ride. I was lucky enough to go to Vaca. It was really cool to see that live. There's Galder, the bald dude. Awesome drums. 5-string VC Rich Warlock bass. That thing's got to weigh a ton. Awesome vocals. Killer. Awesome. Not the most shredding thing, but really cool because it fits well. Marshall Mono Block in the power amp in the background. Totally rad. Awesome song. I forgot how awesome that riff is. Right? Killer.
Left are the kings of the carnival creation, we're carrying out the echoes of the fallen. Dance the withering eternity as they fade away. The ultimate graceless void of all time. Only death will be guarding your angels.
Awesome drums. You know, when Vortex and Mustus left the band, or they were fired, and Nick, they really lost something. I think, you know, Death Cult Armageddon was a good album, and Progenies of the Great Apocalypse is an awesome song. And there's some other songs on there that are good too, but Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia has got to be one of the best sounding metal albums, and maybe the heaviest album in standard tuning, one of them. Anyway, the production was killer. They did it at the Abyss Studios. I think Peter Tatgren engineered that. And that's from the golden era of extreme metal. Like that window, I could keep saying, like between like 96 to like maybe 2004, maybe 2006. Those 10 years were like untouchable when it came to, you know, extreme metal. I mean, so many awesome albums. They all sound, the production quality was a step forward, a leap forward, you know, not to say that things that weren't recorded, you know, with more not as modern gear don't sound awesome or aren't as good, but that was just, in my opinion, for extreme metal, like the high water mark. And I had forgotten how epic that song was, Kings of the Carnival Creation, on that album. That entire album's really good. But, you know, and that's one thing I have to say is that, you know, Mustus wrote, the keyboard dude, wrote a lot of the music. And once he was out of the picture, it kind of seems like the songs weren't as strong. And, you know, having Simon Vortex, having Simon Hestus Vortex, whatever his name is, awesome bass player, awesome vocalist. The band Borknagar is killer too. The band that he was in before Dimmu Borgir, he went back there, thankfully, after Dimmu. But, those vocals are great, and they elevated the music. I mean, if you listen to Insight in the Catharsis, there's an awesome song, too, from Spiritual Black Dimensions. And I was going to choose that song, but I went with Kings of the Carnival Creation instead because I haven't heard it in a long time. I listen to Insight in the Catharsis, not regularly, but, it's familiar. Still in rotation once in a while. But, the dude brought so much with the vocals. Having those clean vocals like that. Yes, Emperor, Thus Spoke the Night Spirit. Awesome track. They had some clean vocals and the keyboards going on too. Some people say Emperors are the ones that really brought that in. But I think that, Dimmu Borgir with the clean vocals and the keyboards and stuff like that sounds killer. I mean, I like Darkness and Throne Triumphant. That's the album. With Mourning Palace, Spellbound by the Devil, and Death's Embrace. I actually did a cover of Mourning Palace on Only What the Light Allows, my last cover album. And that was one of my favorite songs, and it still is. And if you listen closely, the keyboard melody in Mourning Palace is the same keyboard melody that's in Orinoco Flow from Enya. Check it out. Not lying to you, it's exactly the same. And every time I heard Enya, I went, that's a really cool keyboard part. And then I heard that Mourning Palace, and I'm like, whoa, it's the same thing. So it was pretty cool. And, a good idea is a good idea. It's super melodic. So somebody needs, all these serious black metal dudes, you need to do a cover of Enya Orinoco Flow. Or maybe I'll do it. Anyway, but we're at the last era of Dimmu Borgir, and this is from the album Abrahadabra, which, is a word that Aleister Crowley used to say, Mr. Crowley. It's some sort of magical thing he probably got from some arcane occult book, but whatever. And, I like this song. This album wasn't terrible. Forces of the Northern Night, I think, was the live album. And who was all on this album? Because it's interesting because I think when they were going to record it, they weren't sure who was going to be on it. So with the main members, it says, is, of course, Shagrath vocals, Silent Oz, and Galder guitars. And then Darius Brozowski, Dare, was on the drums. Snowy Shaw did the bass and some of the clean vocals. And I think Snowy Shaw was in King Diamond's band, and he was in Therion, and he was a bassist and a drummer in Therion too. And I think he actually was the main vocals for a while. Andy Sneap did some lead guitar, and I think what was and Agnete Kilsrud, she did the clean vocals. And I think, not having Simon, Vortex, they really lost something, especially on this album. So let's check this out. Gateways Live, and this was in Forces of the Northern Night in Oslo, Norway. So let's check that out. Here we go. I like the clean vocals on this, I really do. Is that the Marilyn Manson Satanic Church looking thing? Huh. Oh, we're gonna get a full choir and orchestra. This ought to be rad. Spit the power. Fully embracing the darkness and the white clothes. See, black metal is not meant to be taken seriously. Is this black metal anymore at this point? I don't know. Who's to say it ever was? French horn. vocals. Awesome picking. Cold in Norway, they're gonna have a fur coat.
Of freedom is the only notion to obey.
Oz still has hair. Now he's bald.
The rebirth is near completion as we slowly awaken from slumber to receive the light that shines in darkness, the light that shines forevermore, forevermore.
The epic ending.
With the glory of the breaker,
That's cool.
can open the door. The keys are in your
Oh, can't hear. Turn it up. Epic, pretty cool. Dig the call and response thing vocally, pretty epic. Good song, good songwriting. All right. Okay. Anyway, that's enough of that. You know, I'd like to have wondered what and heard what the version of that song with Vortex doing the call and response thing would have sounded like. I mean, that was really cool, and I think Miss Kjolsrud did a great job singing that song live too. She had some problems, you know, turn it up, can't hear, you know, it happens. But awesome song, and it's a shame that this band kind of is on the decline, in my opinion, because they put out another album after this, and they were supposed to be like a stripped down, less orchestral album, but you know, the orchestra stuff sounds really cool, but it just kind of seems like they lost the darkness and the maybe the last bit of any sort of black metal ink they had in their cauldron. So anyway, good band, good stuff. Huge influence, you know. And when I was getting into extreme metal, I got into black metal. I mean, stuff like this first because it was more melodic and I could understand what was going on, and it had more of a familiar song structure to it. It wasn't like listening to like like Blotted Science and stuff like that, where it took me a little while to wrap my head around it. But once I did, I was a super huge fan. You know, Ron Jarzenbeck's an awesome guitar player. and everybody that's been in that project's a great musician. But, you know, stuff like this made getting into extreme metal more accessible, and it was, you know, easy to follow. And it was really, really cool. That whole live Misanthropy DVD is great. You know, if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's on YouTube now. It's not I mean, you probably could order on the DVD, but you know what I'm saying. It's been a while. But anyway, definitely cool in the formative years of my musical journey. And, you know, having the keyboards and the synths and the orchestra stuff's really cool. And it kind of even ties into the Dimmu Borgir stuff I was talking about in the last video where, you know, European metal brought those elements, you know, into the forefront, and it really made it what it was. It, you know, expanded the sound. And even in my own albums, there's a lot of synth, and there's a lot of, you know, orchestra stuff and some choir stuff, and it sounds really cool. And that brings me to another question. What's better, the Mother North video with Satyricon live in Norway, or the Gateways video with Dimmu Borgir live in Norway and Oslo as well? Anyway, you guys have an awesome holiday weekend. Keep rocking. Appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the likes, all the information you guys are giving me, the feedback. I really appreciate it. Got lots more guitar stuff after Christmas coming out, and I got a new record on the horizon, and I'm going to be doing a small tour down in LA, in San Diego around NAMM in January. Hope to see some of you guys there. Right on. Take it easy.